Welcome to Classic Colloquy, the show where we watch, discuss, and review classic public domain media. I am your host, RockinMrMagic, and welcome to the show. With me today, I have a guest joining me on this inaugural episode of Classic Colloquy. He is known as the Superman of Almighty Gaming Studios, the one and only Mylon Blackmore.
Uh, Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here with the magic himself.
That would be me.
Man,
Yeah. I'm excited to be on with you again. If you recall, if you listened to the original Jeek podcast, you may remember Milan made an appearance on our WandaVision recap episode. And time permitting, when we have a Falcon and Winter Soldier recap episode, he'll make another appearance.
I'll be back. I'll be
Yeah,
back.
yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
But today we are watching some classic content. But before we get started, Milan, why don't you share with everyone where our listeners can find you and your content on social media?
So, everyone, if you want to be live and in Technicolor from the Nerve Center, I need you all to go to Almighty Gaming Studios on our Facebook. If you have a Twitch, definitely follow us at Almighty Gaming Studios on Twitch and on our Twitter at Almighty Gaming 16. So that's Almighty Gaming 16 for the Twitter, Almighty Gaming Studios for the Facebook, and Almighty Gaming Studios for the Twitch. And what we do is we basically review, break down everything nerd culture, gaming culture, animes, mangas, comic books, everything. You name it, we break it down. If it's on a streaming platform, we're breaking it down. We just got through diving into Outbreak recently. So you can go check out some of that footage if you want to see some. We're definitely going to dive into some Outriders pretty soon. So definitely stay tuned for that. And we'll be doing our Falcon and Winter Soldier review pretty soon. So this is a great time for you all to hop in, join the fan family, and get it busting with us. Well, we do gaming right.
Yeah. Definitely check out the boy Milan and all Mighty Gaming Studios. I jumped in and was watching some of the Twitch stream today. It's good content, fun content, and you will not be disappointed checking him out. All right, so we gonna get rocking with this. We
Yeah.
going this is fun stuff. So today on Classic Colloquy, we are going to be watching the classic episode of Superman, which is an animated series, not Superman the animated series, which is in the title. That's from the '90s. This is Superman 1941, which is an animated series, and we're going to be watching the pilot, which is officially called Episode One, but more commonly known as the Mad Scientist. So, a little breakdown on this episode before we watch it. This premiered September 26, 1941. It starred Bud Collyer as Clark Kent slash Superman, Joan Alexander as Lois Lane, Julian Noah as Perry White, Jack Mercer as the Mad Scientist, and Jackson Beck as the narrator slash radio newscaster. Some production notes here. Um, in early 1941, Paramount Pictures acquired the film rights specifically to DC Comics' Superman. Paramount then pitched the idea of producing a Superman series to its animation producer, Fleischer Studios, which was co owned by brothers Max and Dave Fleischer. Dave Fleischer, in particular, did not want to take on the task of producing such a demanding series. So he went up to Paramount and gave them a ridiculously high budget quota of $100,000 per episode, per cartoon, I should say, which in today's dollars, adjusted for inflation, 1.8 million per cartoon is the budget quoted by Dave Fleischer. It's, I mean, come on, think about what you and I could do with a 1.8 million budget per piece of content we create. I mean, come on.
I could stop streaming out the house. I could, hey, man, I
we
can
we we
employ
could
people.
we forget streaming in the studio. We could stream from the airplane with that type of
Man,
money. You
right?
know what
We
I'm
can
saying?
stream on a private jet.
Right? We could be like, hey, Elon Musk, can we stream from SpaceX shuttle?
Right, right. Can we stream from that hotel you got up in the moon base? Yeah,
Right?
let me go see Cap. Let's stream and let's show Cap what's going on.
Right? Exactly. 'Cause, yeah, that is a budget and a half. Uh, and per the my research here, that budget was 6 times the cost that the Fleischers had to spend to create the black and white Popeye the Sailor cartoons. So Dave was just hoping to get Paramount to change their mind about creating this series. And to his surprise, Paramount did not flinch. They negotiated the rate down to a production cost of 50,000 for the first cartoon and 30,000 for the subsequent cartoons, which is still a lot of
A
money.
lot of money.
I
Like,
mean,
even still.
we know with that 1.8 million, half of that, so 900,000 for that first one, and they said they went down to 30,000. So we're talking about probably around 650, maybe 700,000 for each subsequent cartoon. That's a lot of money.
It's a lot.
That's a big budget. So subsequently, getting showered with that money. Um, Again, that was 6 times what it cost them to make Popeye. So they were definitely in the profit. So they started to get to work on the first short of the series, episode 1, Mad Scientist of Superman. The Fleischer brothers put Steve Muffati in charge of the first Superman short, and he was working at Fleischer and later Famous Productions. He is the credited director, but actually served roles typically ascribed to a film producer or a supervising director, while the credited animators were more actually like animation directors. Um, as we watch, we will see that Superman was produced with the same care and attention to detail that the Fleischer staff was known for and had given their first feature film, Gulliver's Travels, which is a 1939 production. And if you have not seen that, listeners, well worth the watch. While some of the scenes in Superman were made using the rotoscope, which Max Fleischer invented, which allowed animation drawings to be traced from live action, others were done by relying upon poses sketched from live reference models instead of using traced footage. Most of the lead actors at Fleischer, I'm sorry, not lead actors, but most of the lead character animators at Fleischer were used to animating caricatured humans and animals. And they were then tasked by maintaining the figures' realistic proportions. Character shadows, elaborate special effects animation, and detailed animation layouts contributed to the high attention to detail that is evident in Superman and its following episodes. Which, as someone who's seen this multiple times, and you yourself has seen this multiple times, being a big Superman fan, I still feel, and I think we'll talk about it a bit more later. This episode still holds up 80 years later.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Oh
So,
yeah.
with all that said, we're ready to press play.
Mhm.
So, what we're going to do is we're going to count down. We're going to count down 3, 2, 1, play. So, you listening or watching, oh, if you're watching this on YouTube, obviously you'll see this on your screen. If you're listening at home via audio only podcast, we're going to count down 3, 2, 1, play, and we're going to press play on play so that you can sink in and watch and banter with us. All right, Milan, you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right, here we go in 3, 2, 1, play. Oh man, those horns.
Right. A Paramount.
Yes, it's blasting.
It's Superman.
Boom, ba-dum, boom, ba-dum, boom, ba-dum. A Max Fleischer cartoon, Superman in
In
Technicolor.
Technicolor.
That's right.
Fun fact, my slogan is live and in Technicolor because Technicolor held so much weight back in the day.
You know,
By Jerome Sheen and Joe Shuster.
Technicolor was super dope, and they had an iron grip on being the standard bearers for such a long time. Directed by Dave Fleischer.
And the fact that I'm watching it on YouTube at like this highest resolution, 1080 HP. What?
How wild is that? Like, the restoration is fantastic.
Their civilization was far advanced and had brought forth a race of supermen whose mental and physical powers were developed to the absolute peak of human perfection. But there came a day when giant quakes threatened to destroy Krypton forever. One of the planet's leading scientists, sensing the approach of doom, placed his infant son in a small rocket ship and sent it hurtling in the direction of the Earth just as Krypton exploded. The rocket ship sped through star-studded space, landing safely on Earth with its precious burden, Krypton's sole survivor. A passing motorist found the uninjured child and took it to an orphanage.
A passing motorist found the child. Okay.
He found himself possessed of amazing physical powers. Faster than a speeding
And that,
bullet.
like, that's interesting, just to think about when we start to think about it scientifically.
A motorist.
The infant of Krypton is now the Man of Steel, Superman. To best be in a position to use
Put
his
that
amazing
chest out,
powers in a
Supes.
never-ending battle for truth and justice, Superman has assumed the disguise of Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan...
They don't even say, you see how they didn't say truth, justice in the American way. They just said truth and justice.
Yes, I believe later on in this series they say truth, justice, in the American way, but
Just received another threatening
yeah.
note. Okay, Mr. White. Lois, another note from the mad scientist.
Coming in, Chief.
Now listen to this warning.
Check out this warning,
Plans
people.
to strike tonight. Beware, you fools. My electrothanasia ray strikes tonight at 12. Total destruction will come to pass.
Electrothanasia ray.
Electrothanasia ray. Don't nobody know what that is and what that don't mean, but it's
I'm gonna start pulling
electrothanasia.
that out. I'm gonna pull
Yeah,
that out.
yeah, for real.
Electromagnesia ray.
Like, somebody's like, I'm gonna hit you with that Hadouken. I'm gonna hit you with my electrothanasia ray.
Lois.
Yeah,
Right.
it's that
Right.
electricity that comes from Asia.
Dangerous mission.
It's magma hot electricity. Like, this
Right?
ain't no joke.
Something.
This ain't no joke.
Here Lois
Okay,
goes.
so right, she drove to the airport to fly her own plane. Like, what is the rental cost on that? How do you do?
You know,
take up
Lois
the
Lois got them ends. You know what I'm saying?
She gets away
Here we
with way
go,
too
here we
much.
go.
But she's OP.
She is OP. Oh, here we go. Mad scientist's crib.
The hour has come.
See, them rays affected that Volta's eyes. Look at his eyes. They're like 3 different colors.
Well, that's because, you know, when you sit there and stare at the clock for midnight, you know, it does something different to your eyes.
You get tired. You strain.
It also does something different to your hair because, you know,
Them rays
My
ain't
man-
no
my
joke.
man-
Them ra-
my man got a mohawk, a tiny mohawk in the middle of his dome, and nothing else on top.
them rays ain't no joke.
That electrothanasia, man, it does something to your eyes and your hair follicles.
And your hair, and your back, your posture, just, oh, Lord.
And it makes your
Throw the
makes your
whole-
little
throw the
bird
whole
jump
raid
around.
away. He does not fly in this whole episode. Like,
Yeah, I believe you're right. I don't think he fly. He probably can't
he does
fly.
not.
You cannot fly within 200 yards of electrothanasia rays. This is not possible.
And you hear through lead. You hear through steel doors.
You can't listen at the side of a metal door, a big old metal door too. That thing is huge.
I'm a reporter.
I'm a reporter. What you reporting on? You reporting on getting kidnapped?
Got you.
Now,
So, you want the story?
okay, so the bird's going up the stairs. And the scientist, like, how did he get her up all them stairs before the bird did? That's impressive.
We don't know. There's some rays.
Right?
These rays do a lot.
Let's crank these rays up.
That can't be good for the environment.
No.
That can't be good.
I'm trying, you know what? I'm going to say it. Oh, here we go. Here we go. It's on.
So it takes out a whole bridge.
He just melted a bridge. We've got a bridge. We got a melted bridge, y'all.
Where's Superman? Just note that, everyone. Where's Superman?
The mad scientist, whose warnings have held the city in a grip of terror, went on his rampage of destruction on the stroke of midnight. The deadly impact of his mysterious ray smashed the famous Tower Bridge, hurling cars and pedestrians into the river below. The police have warned everyone.
And Superman is just sitting there. He's just sitting there.
This sounds like I got to do something. Oh, okay. Let me go.
Now it sounds like a job for you.
Right? Let me go in the stock room now. You know.
Normally this is where Canada had to go in there.
Normally this is where Lois and I make out, but now I've got to go in the stock room. Change.
Someone close this window behind me.
Yeah, somebody get this window. Oh, here we go. Back to the mad scientist. Changing targets. Let's hit this building. This Empire State Building. Building-looking building. Oh, no.
Look, like he just got hit with a whole beam. Like he's not okay. His back is definitely broken.
His back ain't right. There you go. All right, let's see what we
move
can
this
do.
Pliable building. This very pliable building.
This building is very flexible. Yes. But you know, if you put your 2 feet down on the top, that centers it.
And you put it back into place.
Yep. Perfect. All right, now we got the beam. Push on it. Yeah, there we go.
That works. Yeah, that works.
It's Superman.
Yes, it is.
Superman. Yes, it is. Oh yeah, crank it up. You know, this dude's apparatus reminds me of something like if Willy Wonka went bad. This is how his stuff would look.
If he turned his chocolate gun into a chocolate ray.
Yeah. You know what? Chocolate ain't working. I'm gonna start making euthanasia electronacia rays. That's what's going to happen.
He has more help. He has Oompa Loompas to help him.
That's true. He has a whole lot of slave labor. Oh, okay. Soups is back up.
The only way to fight that, right? The only way to fight that is to hit it.
Yeah,
remember,
you got to punch that laser ray.
Problem, punch it, kids. That's the lesson here.
Yes, kids. If you can't solve your problem with your mind, just punch it. Punch the ray.
Solve it with your fist.
Yes. Oh, he cranked it up to 10,000. Oh, but it doesn't look like it's going to be good enough. Soups. Oh.
How do you tie a whole barrel into a knot?
Right. Took that metal and tied it up. And now we get the repercussions, all that power.
Low black pressure. Right.
All that
he
pressure.
doesn't know what this does to the environment. He just knows it's bad flow.
Right. And now he's like, oh, look, there's Lois. What up, girl? Let me untie you.
Now let me go help her.
Instead of just getting you out of here, let me untie you. Because that makes sense.
The bird still hasn't flown, ladies and gentlemen.
He's hopping.
Just let that record be known. He's hopping.
He's hopping. The mad scientist got mad dodge. You see the mad scientist got mad dodge skills? Dodging just debris just flying everywhere. He's like, oh. Like he a running back, just dodging debris.
Man, that's the new Derrick Henry. The euthanasia ways made him. Oh, there you go.
Throw him in jail. There we go. Perfect picture. Jimmy Olsen.
I love that mugshot. I love that mugshot.
He be
Superman's
looking mad
identity
salty.
still a mystery.
Yes, Chief, thanks to Superman.
Oh, hey, okay. Oh man. Oh, there we go. And yay, Superman saved the day. Lois got the
Because
credit from Perry White, but Superman saved the day. What a classic!
what a classic.
A classic. Now let's
Let's dissect this. Let's do.
before we dissect the episode and talk about what we think. I'm gonna go do a little show trivia, little show some fun facts. Fun fact section we've got here. First of all, this show is, especially this episode, was highly influential. So Paramount, they not only produced this, they decided to promote it, which was rare for an animated short. Animated shorts were generally treated as throwaway bonuses at movie theaters, so being promoted was definitely not the norm. And this short had notable success, being nominated for the 1942 Academy Award for Best Short Subject, which it lost to the Pluto cartoon by Walt Disney, Lend a Paw. So this is a highly regarded short. Um, and then we've got some influence of this in pop culture with the famed animator Bruce Timm was influenced to use Superman's vintage color scheme and film noir approach to the successful Warner Brothers television programs, Batman the Animated Series and Superman the Animated Series. Both of these 1990 series, many of the character and background designs are based on the Fleischer Superman shorts. There's a scene in this short where the Superman disrupts the generator and causes the mad scientist lair to explode. This was used to some extent in the episode Heart of Steel in Batman the Animated Series, where Batman attempts to thwart the plan of Hardak to murder and replace humans with androids. A scene in which the background characters are shown as black silhouettes while Clark listens to the radio was also similarly used in Batman the Animated Series in the episode Almost Got Him. And also, the Iron Giant references this short by playing the familiar motif at the mention of Superman. So we definitely have some recent pop culture influence as well as the influence during its time. And then some trivia fun facts here. Um, a brief summary of Superman's origin on the planet Krypton is provided in the opening monologue of this episode. Also, in this episode, we noticed the Daily Planet building resembles the Empire State Building, and that the familiar Daily Planet globe is not seen on top of the building. And also, in this continuity, and I think, and you mentioned it while we were watching, Superman was raised in an orphanage. He was found
Yes.
by a passing motorist and dropped off at an
Right.
orphanage, and absolutely no mention is made of John and Martha Kent. And last trivia bit here, we noticed that the mad scientist owns that pet, the flightless vulture, which
That's
acts as
flightless vulture.
his de facto henchman. And this episode of the series provides some humor from said vulture, which is apparently uncharacteristic of this series. As we saw the vulture imitating the mad scientist's movements, actions, and even helping him make adjustments to the evil electrothanasia ray.
Right, like opening the door, like pulling the lever open.
Pulling levers,
Well,
opening
he's not
doors.
pulling still.
And apparently he can tell time because he was sitting there staring, watching the clock as the mad scientist was. So this is really one super intelligent vulture we've got going on here.
Right, hyper intelligent.
All right, so let us dive deeper into this episode. Milan, what did you think of this episode?
I mean, as a kid, when I first seen this on the TV, oh yeah, it was absolutely amazing. It was more fuel for the fire for me to just take on the Superman mantle. Like, yep, that's yeah, we can. Yeah, if we're gonna have anybody to be a fanboy too, this is definitely the person too. Now watching it, I get more of a Elseworld origin stories vibe. Like,
Okay.
it from everything that we've seen in it, it's nothing of what we know today, but still, it you can tell some things trickled from it, and it was the start of what it is that Superman is today. Like we said in earlier, he it said he just stands for truth and justice. Well, we know in the comics he stands for truth, justice, and America way, and then in the reboot he drops the American way because he doesn't consider himself an American anyway. He
Right.
like full on says, you know what? Yeah, I'm an alien. We're just gonna embrace what we are. We ain't gonna give you all too much credit, but I'm him for the U.S. I know. So it's good to see little hints of Superman's power set or origin slightly tweaked. Because again, it was a lot to pick. Because who named him? If a motorist picked him up and just dropped him off at an orphanage, who named him Clark Kent? And that's
I
probably why his name sounds so simplistic. They
Right.
were
It
just
is
like
basic name.
Clark.
Like the motorist picked him up, and he takes him to the orphanage, and they're like, okay, well, where'd you find him? See, I was driving on Clark Street, and a little rocket ship crashed to the ground. So I went to it and I opened it up, and inside was a baby. So I was like, well, there's an orphanage around the corner on Kent Street. So here we go. Oh, Clark Kent. You found him on Clark Street? This is Kent Street. That sounds like a good name. We'll call him Clark Kent. Like,
You know what? That works. That works. Someone get a birth certificate out right now.
right now,
Right now. You know what? Motorist, can you sign off as a witness for please?
Mr. Unnamed Motorist.
The birth certificate just says the motorist.
The motorist. The motorist who found the baby
The
on
motorist.
Clark Street. There we go. Signed, sealed, delivered.
There we go.
Baby
There we
belongs to
go.
the orphanage now.
Baby, look, and then you remember you heard them say once the baby grew up, in the orphanage and figured out, that he was faster than a speeding bullet, stronger than,
Which
still able to jump buildings in a single bound.
which is crazy that that he thinks he can conceal himself as Clark Kent, because like if you grew up in an orphanage around all these kids, and that picture was no small orphanage, okay, that looked like a
No,
big
that
old
was a
orphanage.
big point.
That orphanage looks substantial. If you are growing up and you're exhibiting all these powers, a lot of people know who Superman is. Like you ain't no secret there, bruh. Um, uh,
Right.
unless
Someone
you're
moved up.
unless you move far, far away, they know who you are.
Can you imagine you grew up in the orphanage with him and you just see somebody like that on TV, like, wait a minute, that ain't never Clarky boy, honey. I was in the same orphanage with him. Wait, what? No, you wasn't. I promise you, there was a kid. He
He used
blew away the bathroom.
right.
He sneezed and the whole bathroom was just obliterated.
Sometimes
That's
we look up at night and wake up and he be floating above his bed. I'm telling you, everybody thought we were crazy, but no, Clarky could do some special things.
Clarky was special.
We always picked Clarky first to play basketball. He would just jump and drop the ball through the basket. Sometimes we had to wait 5 minutes for him to come down. I'm telling you, Clarky
We
was
had a
special.
cookout. We had a cookout. He had laser vision. We ain't never have to use no type of heat conducer. None of that. It was just, he was a great guy. He's a great guy.
Super guy. And I mean, one time it was winter, the dead of winter, and we have no heat. And the headmaster was just telling us, "I'm sorry, boys. The only wood we had left we used for the girls. You need to be men, and you have to be men and tough it out. You have to grow up tonight." And then all of a sudden, Clarky looked at me and winked, and then he was gone. And then he was back. And all of a sudden, I looked and there was a fire. And we were like, "Where'd the fire come from?" Clarky looked at me and he winked, and I saw a red laser come out his eye. And it ignited the wood. And I was like, "What?" And I'm telling you, Clarky, man, Clarky, he was something else.
He looked back and said, "Shh."
But when he went shh, it was really cold, and I got lightly frozen. I was shivering.
Wow.
There is
Could
no
you
way
imagine?
you can't hide that, and unless you're
There
going to
was
put
a hurricane.
unless you're going to put
Heading toward.
unless the entire orphanage got turned into a psych ward, and because everybody thought they were crazy, there's no way you hid this dude. There's no way. There's no anonymity there.
Maybe he just ran away at a certain point. Like,
that's true. They don't say where. They just said a motorist in the orphanage. They didn't say there's an orphanage in Metropolis. Though an orphanage that size ain't in some cow town. Like, this is going to be an area that has a substantial population. Wherever
you know what is
live.
in that. Now you know what is in them them insane asylums. So again, it all depends on how they're wording this. Like, there could have been an orphanage for the mentally handicapped. We don't know. Maybe that's why he got away with it. He was helping everyone there. He was the only able-minded person there. He's like, "Oh, this is the perfect cover. This is the perfect cover. I can help them all out. No one's ever gonna suspect."
Yeah, that it's gotta take something that far out, because man, they did not. This backstory did not do a great job as far as keeping him anonymous.
It's a lot of holes in it. It's a lot of holes.
A lot of holes. Well, and let's talk about holes. So at the end here, we see Perry White shaking Lois's hand in front of her desk, and we see Clark over at his desk, which is in the same room. Now, at the beginning, we saw Perry in his office with that little call box, and he does one switch for Lois and then the other switch for Clark. They in the same room.
They're in the same room.
Why would you need two switches? Like
he has super hearing.
Not even
I know
that.
He heard you.
They just in the same room. Like, why would you? If they don't have separate offices, why would you need separate switches on the call box for them? Like, you could have called Lois and said, "Hey, Lois, come to my office and bring Kent with you." Like, you didn't need to call them separately. That's just silly. They right there. They are 4 feet away from each other. There is no way he did not hear what happened on her call box.
Someone, did you hear, or do I need to tell you? I'm on my way up there now.
Right, I'm coming, boss. I'm coming. Like, come on, like that's just silly. And something else that was very silly. And then, not that we're just going to destroy this, because this is a very good episode, and it holds up, these 80+ years. But you said it while we were watching, and I just have to chuckle because my man, Mad Scientist, melted that bridge. Just melted that joint, and a lot of people died.
A lot of people took it.
A lot of people died there.
This is not kid friendly.
Yeah, this is pretty dark for that time frame. And then he shoots a building which looks like the Empire State Building, but we see is the Daily Planet. It doesn't melt; it just bends.
Maybe it was the angle he hit it.
What's up with the rubber Daily Planet building that could just?
So maybe it was
just bend back and forth.
So maybe it was the angle. Maybe it was the angle, because when he hit the bridge, he hit that joint pretty straight. But when he hit the building, it was a little low. So maybe the rays like lose power the farther out they have to go. And by the time it hit the building, it only had enough to like slowly erode at the foundation of it. I don't know, but that's the only way I could possibly see in this building be that malleable to that point. And a whole bridge just was just like, yeah, just gone in the water. Just completely just eviscerated. Just did
Yes,
not land.
completely. That's a great word, eviscerated. That bridge was eviscerated. That building, not so much. Um, yeah, he melted like one beam away in some wood, and that was like that was like it. Like, okay, but this bridge is
So iron?
gone
So
compared to
iron?
steel.
I guess. So what? So I guess what we're saying is like the bridge was iron and the building is steel. Okay,
Okay,
okay. So
maybe
it took more youth electro
electrinaceous.
waves. Yeah,
Yes.
it took more to because you see what it did to Superman. Just it didn't it just hit him. It just caught him off guard because it was just consistent. But
Oh,
it looks
it
like steel is its weak
so
point.
so because the bridge was iron, it melted, but because the Daily Planet has some steel beams, it just turned it into like
Hmm.
just a bendy type of
Malleable.
property.
Uh,
Very
Made it
pliable.
very, very malleable.
Yeah, it turned it into like Play-Doh. It turned
Look.
into a Play-Doh building. Uh, you could
And
just
then
move it around.
he just stands on it one good time like, hold on, stay right
Right.
there.
He got up there, planted his feet, and was like, all right, this is gonna stay now. Now let me go fight this Ray because I love how the mad
I
scientist turns the power up as Superman is pushing on the Ray, and he got Superman doing some hip hop dances. It's uh, 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 like he was trying to pop and lock on him as he gets knocked down.
so I love everyone's theory. Like, yeah, to get rid of Superman, if we're gonna just blast him with something, we're just gonna turn it up.
Yeah,
That's
that makes sense.
obviously intensifying it. That's what's gonna bring him down. And obviously he's just like he's just agitated with it at this
Right.
point. At that point in the show, he's just like, wait, okay, hold on. Wait a
Well, you
minute.
know what?
Now I don't need
You
brains.
make a
I
great
need
point.
brawn.
You make a great point. It wasn't turned all the way up, so maybe that's why the Daily Planet didn't get as much damage because it's a much bigger structure than the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
So
It
maybe if it
needed
was
more juice.
yes, if it was cranked up a bit, it could have probably melted the Daily Planet and all those poor souls inside of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're glad, right? Because I mean, enough people died on the bridge, so we're kind of
Yes,
glad.
that's true. We saw like 5 cars get melted on that bridge. So yeah, that wasn't pretty.
And mind you, that's a bridge, so it's not like the ray just hit the bridge and people just instantly knew to stop and pull over. No, people were probably like going
Yeah.
80, going each direction, and just oh my god,
Well, I
Lord, just thinking
can't
about
say
it.
80 because it's 1941, but let's say they're going good. They're going a good 45 on that bridge, and it's dark, so they all of a sudden they just drive into the water. That's not pretty.
That's not pretty at
That is
all.
not going to be pretty at all. Yeah, that
And
was.
again, where was
Mm.
Superman? Where was Superman?
Well, you would think Superman would have heard screams, cries for help, something of that nature. Not that he had to hear it over the radio. That to me, it sounds like he's being a little lazy. Um,
So,
I don't know.
so what me and
That's a tough one.
so,
That's
so
a
what
tough
me and
one.
Magic are alluding to, it's how he was raised. He was raised in an orphanage. So what we're alluding to is that since everything in this origin isn't centered to what we know, a monster kin and a Jonathan kin teaching him and raising him, he's really going off of what was comfortable to him
Yeah,
what he feels like he needs to do, and so his behavior is different. Like before,
that's
like
true.
pre post 52 Superman, he hears a little boy getting touched by a Catholic priest across the world. This man is sitting at his desk and just hearing people just driving to the lake now, driving to the water.
Like, oh,
Then he
someone's
was
screaming
like,
about the bridge is
now
gone.
this
Ah, well, it's no big
now
deal.
at that moment, then he's like, now this is a job for Superman. You're like, oh my god, oh, what type of Superman is this?
Well, maybe, and this is something else we could potentially softball. This Superman, I've seen a lot of these episodes. I don't think I've seen all of them, but this Superman may not have developed the super hearing or the heat vision. So if he's limited power set to just being faster than a speeding bullet, more power than a locomotive, and able to leap over tall buildings with a single bound, then he may have to rely on the radio to get news of the bridge getting melted.
Mm. Yeah, because his power set was just capped off to those three things. Like he didn't really fly. He just took off. He
He's just
jumped.
jumping long.
Just
Yeah, he's
he's just
long
jumping
jumping.
long.
Yeah, it's Carl Lewis. He's long jumping. He's jumping long and jumping high.
he,
He's not
there,
flying,
got it.
flying.
Okay, he's not flying. He's semi.
Yeah, he's jumping high and long. So
I
that that
love
that
it.
that
I love
and
it.
that would make sense. Like the fact that he did not have the Jonathan and Martha Kent nurturing and raising, so he might be a bit less concerned with just humanity in general, and combined with the fact that he may not have the super hearing to be aware of everybody's potential problems, and or the X-ray vision, or the heat vision, or the cold breath. Those things may not be available to him, so he's limited in what he can do. And when he learns about it, he took action. Unfortunately, the action he took was, well, I can't say for sure because we don't know if it was. It appears to me that he did not know Lois was there. She was just happened to be there. So he did looks like he just went to go take care of the mad scientist and take him out, and just stumbled upon Lois. Now you mentioned Lois while we were watching, and that's a great point because I'm trying to figure out how she like gets there before he does. Because even if he doesn't have the super hearing or super sight, um, they're aware that the mad scientist is going to strike at midnight because they were both there when Perry read them the note. She leaves to
Mm-hmm.
go find out. So if I'm Superman, and this is just me, if I'm Superman and I know that somebody crazy with an electro-euthanasia array, which the first thing I'm probably doing is going to the library to figure out what electro-euthanasia is. But
Using
after
a
that,
good Dewey Decimal System.
but after that, I'm trying to find out where this dude is. I'm not sitting at my desk. I'm flying around trying to find out where the mad scientist is before midnight, before he melts something else, or melts something. So how does Lois beat him there? She has to leave this massive Daily Planet building, and let's say they're not even on the top floor. Let's say they're in the middle floor of this massive Empire State Building looking thing. It's going to take us some time for her to get down the elevator downstairs. Then she's got to get in her car and drive, or take a cab to the airport to get into this airplane. This airplane that has to be fueled, prepped, cleared for takeoff. She has to wait for air traffic control to clear her. Then she's got to fly over to this mountain place where the mad scientist lives, land safely. And I don't know where she landed because it looks like, well, she landed, actually, I shouldn't say no, I know where, because it showed the plane right in front of like the door, which is some precision landing. Gave it to Lois. Wow. She landed right in front of his door. But when we see the Ray being shot, he's like on the very top of this mountain. So I don't know how she landed that plane because there was clearly no
And then the
weapons
plane
or
doesn't
script.
the plane doesn't come back with her.
Oh no, it
The
got
plane
blowed
doesn't
up.
come back at all.
Yeah, that thing got blowed up.
So who's paying for that? Who's
Yeah, that's a
paying
good.
for
Yeah,
that?
yo, who was paying? Yes, who was paying for the lost plane? Because if the Daily Planet is paying for that plane, then she should not be getting her hand shook. She would be probably looking for a job because I don't think they made nearly enough money to cost for the cost of that losing that airplane
At
because that plane
all.
got
At
destroyed after
all.
the whole place blew up. So I don't know.
Which Superman did. Which Superman did.
Superman blew that joint up. You know, I,
Twisting barrels into knots and all.
so like, let me twist this metal up, turn into make a knot so it can't get out and just build up, explode. Oh look, Lois is here. Let's get her out.
Oh.
Oh Lois, what's good? What you doing here? And what was she going to accomplish? Like the mad scientist was going to sit down and have a Barbara Walters expose conversation, or like she was gonna have a Gail and R. Kelly type conversation, like he was gonna expose his you know his plans and
I love
his
that.
life's
I
pain,
love it.
and he's gonna be sitting there. They trying to kill me now, Robert. I don't think they're telling us everything. You
Now,
need to be
mad
honest with
scientist.
yourself. Now,
Fuck
mad scientist,
euthanasia.
you need to tell us. Yeah, they trying to take me out. I got electrothanasia.
I got electrothanasia. Wait.
I got hits. I melt bridges. Like, like what was really gonna happen? Like, you think he was just gonna tell you everything and you gonna have a little story to take back to your newspaper? Like, no. Wait, I,
No, that's not how this works.
that's not how this works. Mad scientists, they may want a monologue, but they're not. I don't understand. I don't understand how reporter could be like, "Hey, this person's just going to tell me why they're committing, mass murders and crimes, or, causing mass destruction, and then they're not only going to tell me, they're going to let me leave so I can put it in the newspaper." Like, what?
No,
No.
no. What mad antagonist just let somebody just. Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you everything and how it all started and let you go. Oh,
And let you go.
imagine that.
And
No,
right here in the corner, I have a nice table and some tea and crumpets for us to enjoy while we talk. This is going to be a lovely conversation, and my vulture is going to sit on my
you know what?
shoulders.
Vulture, right?
My
Vulture,
vulture is
go get
really
the
a
snack.
butler. My vulture is really a butler, and he'll get you anything you need. And we're just going to have this lovely talk. Mad scientist to mad
Vulture,
reporter.
snacks.
Right. Come on. Lois
Go
is
get the
tripping.
sparkling water. Oh my god. Go get the sparkling water.
Oh man, Lois is tripping. He'd have her drinking electrothanasia drinks.
Right, I wouldn't want like everything is radiated or electrified or something of that sort dealing with this. No, I don't.
Right, she's sitting there with the cup in her
Imagine
hand.
you got.
My first question to you, mad scientist, sir, is what happened to your hair? Well, you see, I've got this mohawk on my hair. It looks like a fin, like a dolphin fin on my head, and then there's nothing else until I got this little strap going around. That's what happens when you have electrothanasia rays, and you're creating
Mm-hmm.
massive weapons of electrothanasia destruction. That's what happens, and then you walk
That's what
down the
happens when you're
stairs
the
like
world
this.
leading scientist.
This is how you walk downstairs.
Body deformity,
Yes,
the whole
yes.
body deformity.
I don't. I just, yeah, I don't understand how she could get into so much trouble thinking someone's going to tell her something. It's, it's wild. Take your pills.
Gotta take my Wonder Days and my Flintstones so I can stay strong and growing.
That's right. so you can be like Superman and
Right.
so
So
we
I can knock out, Electro under euthanasia way.
oh man, such a great episode. The art is so gorgeous in this episode.
I was just gonna say, like, again, the fact that they dumped so much money into that budget to make that happen and to shoot it like a movie.
Oh yeah,
Again, like I said, I just got through watching it on YouTube at its highest resolution, and it still holds up. Like, not bad at all. Not bad at all.
yeah. I mean, the only thing, and the only reason we're able to poke so much fun at it and have fun with it is because it's a product of its time, and so there's
Hmm.
just the goofiness of the 1940s, and some extra over dramatization, but art wise, production value, um, animation, it's gorgeous, it's fun, and it's a testament to classic Superman.
Hmm.
Like there's nothing you can complain about. You can have fun with the some cheesy parts and goofy parts, but there's nothing you can tear it down with. Like, it's very good.
Oh yeah, no, it's for a pilot, it definitely, and again, it's only 10 minutes and 37 seconds. That's
Right.
long to them. That was like doing a whole 30-minute sketch with no commercials. Like that's what that was to them. And that's a good pilot. This is the exact pilot that would have got a whole bunch of kids at that time frame. Just like, oh yeah, this is. I can't wait to see next week. Like, yeah,
Right.
it definitely delivered on what it did.
Especially with how this was consumed. Like, this is something that was consumed at the movie theater. So this is something that kids would have been like, "Mom, can we go back to the movies? Dad, can we go back to the movies? Like,
Mm-hmm.
we want to see the next Superman." Uh, and something that wasn't a
Mm-hmm.
throwaway became something that was holding attention, probably bringing in people.
And again, 1941. This was the new wave of cartoons moving forward from the Walt Disney point of view of
Yeah,
cartoons. So again,
that's a great
like
point.
Walt Disney is just holding it down with the animation and the cartoons and it being brighter for Western and bouncy, and cute and
Right.
does what nothing cute about none of this at all. Oh,
No, we got well, within the first minute we've got a planet exploding. That's a bit bleak.
first seconds,
Yeah.
right?
Within the first minute. Then instead of taking some kid in that he found on the side of the road in a rocket
You're
ship,
shooting a child into
yeah,
space.
we're shooting a
You're
child to
shooting
space.
a child.
A motorist, unwilling to adopt a child he found, takes him to the orphanage, and and then let's see, we've got a threatening note of electrothanasia within the first 3 minutes, and then we see. I think Lois shows up before the first shot. Let me double check. Yeah, Lois shows up before the first shot. So just pretty much at 6 minutes, just before 6 minutes, we see him melt a bridge. Oh, bridge melt. He's like, "Hey,
Like
Lois,"
right off bat.
and I love it. He's like, "You want something for your story, Miss Lane? Okay, I'm going to melt a
That's hella
bridge.
material.
I'll,
That's hella material.
I'll give you a
Just
story
like,
of
yeah, I
destruction.
got something for you.
I
Oh
got something for you. A story of
God,
destruction the world's never known. Watch me melt the
I give you a story.
bridge." Like,
I give you a story.
I mean, I'm gonna pull this part of the scene. Let me look at this because he shoots this bridge, and then I swear at least, oh, we didn't really see lights, but a good 30, 40 feet of the bridge is melted, and there's a lot of cars on this bridge when he shoots it.
You're not stopping on a dime. You're not
Right.
pulling
Like,
over.
yeah,
Like,
you're not stopping on a dime in 2021. You're definitely not stopping on a dime in 1941. Ain't no brakes that good. You
Ain't
can
no
put
disc brakes, ain't no drum brakes,
right.
ain't no emergency brakes.
Yeah, even if you've got the e-brake to pull, you
It's
ain't
just a
stopping like
brake.
that.
Oh
Exactly.
Lord Jesus.
That Model
you're
T.
in Ford.
Yeah,
Right.
your old Model T or you know, I can't even I don't even know cars that old.
It doesn't even have seatbelts.
Right. There's no
Doesn't even
seatbelt.
have seatbelts.
There's no
You're in
seatbelts.
a hoop-de-ville.
There ain't no airbags. There ain't no seatbelts. There ain't
Ain't none of
nothing.
no safety precautions. It's not
Zero.
even a right view.
It's not even a right mirror. There's only a left mirror.
There's
My
only a
father
left
told me,
mirror.
like when cars first came out, there was only a left mirror. So you don't have a right mirror. You don't have 4 sets of brakes. You don't have a seat belt. You don't have OnStar. You don't have none of that. None of that. You are in a
if you had
pure
OnStar,
metal death trap.
if you had OnStar, it was like contacting
It was
OnStar.
your religion. As
Be cautious. Be watch out. We believe that you got melted on the bridge. Contacting OnStar and emergency services. Thank you. Like, yeah, it's crazy,
switchboard.
right?
And remember, so
OnStar
Even if they
switchboard
had
going off.
OnStar, it was funny. It was terrible. It was switchboard back then. So still, like,
a lot of people died. Okay,
Yes,
everyone. We just want that to
we
be
want
known.
you to
There was
know before
nothing that could have changed that.
before the Snyderverse made things dark. The Fleischers got things dark first because a lot of people died on that bridge. Yeah. A lot of people died on that bridge. Thankfully, nobody died in the Daily Planet, but them bridge folk.
Shook around. Shook around.
Yeah, but them
Shook
bridge
around a
folk,
little bit, but
they
they're
got
okay.
jacked up. It's not pretty. It is
well,
unfortunate.
honey, I was just on the bridge. I was just on my way home.
I was trying to get home. Why are you home so late? Well, the mad scientist melted the bridge, and you're lucky
I
that
had to take the long way.
So I had to take the long way. Yeah, you're lucky I didn't die, because them people died.
Where was Superman?
I don't know.
Superman? That's my question.
Yeah, that's what I would say. I'm just glad I got home. Now, can I get some meatloaf and let me live?
Right. Can I just have a moment, dear?
Oh man, but great episode. Great art. The Fleischers, their company did an amazing job. And as we read earlier, the influence that this episode alone had is just fantastic. And I'll probably try to throw a screenshot, but because it mentioned Hardak, the machine kind of looks like Hardak from some of the design. Like it just clicked to me on not only they mentioned the use of the explosion, but the design of the machine looks like Hardak. I'm gonna have to like screenshot some of the similarities in the art style and that noir feel, which is just there's something about that 30s, 40s, 50s noir feel that looks just so good and fits that superhero energy. It's so dope. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So if you had to,
again,
so
this
you
is
mentioned you would
pre.
have liked
This
it
is
more.
pre.
You mentioned you would have liked it more as a kid, but if you had to give it a rating, let's say 0 to 5, 0 to 5 classic TVs. Right now, 2021, 0 to 5, what would your rating be?
Right now, 0 to 5, 4.
4. Okay.
4.
That's pretty good. I actually have to echo that. I can't give it 5 because obviously it's not perfect. Nothing is. And the cheesiness doesn't age well, but everything else
No.
ages so well.
Holds.
You know, the music, the technicolor, the art, the pacing, it's fantastic. Of course, you know, the things we watch now in 80 years, people are going to say it's cheesy and corny too. So um, I can't hold that super against it. It's an 80-year-old cartoon, and it is still magnificent. It's as magnificent to me as it was the first time I watched it. You know, on VHS back in the '90s. It's great.
Hmm.
So that's gonna
Very
that's gonna
much
be
so.
our
Again,
rating.
it did a job.
Yes, they did a fantastic job because there's some content that we're gonna watch on Classic Colloquy that's not going to have this level of production or hold up as well. There's gonna be some things that we watch and we're gonna be like, that was pretty bad. Um, there's some classic TV that did not make the cut. There's pilots out there that there's a reason why they never became programs and they just stayed a pilot because they were bad. This was not one of those. This again was up for an Oscar. This was peak animation 80 years ago, and I believe that it is still great animation in 2021. So a 4 out of 5 for you, 4 out of 5 for me. I you know I recommend if you have not seen this episode of Superman, take the 10 minutes and 30 seconds and watch it.
Literally.
It's a much
Literally.
watch. Even if you're not a huge Superman fan, watch it to appreciate the art, appreciate the music, appreciate the influence that this episode had on pop culture then and now. So much fun. I had a great time with you, Milan.
It's always a vibe and a half. It's always.
Yes. And if you enjoyed this time with me and Milan, buckle up because Milan has told me that he wants to come back and do multiple episodes of this. So this is going to be
Yes,
something
we're
that,
glutton for this.
yeah, exactly. So you're going to hear a lot more of myself and Milan here on Classic Colloquy. And I want to thank you all for joining us. I, again, am your host, RockinMrMagic. He is the Superman of Almighty Gaming Studios, Milan Blackmore. And we hope you enjoyed yourself with us today. Definitely check out Milan and his content. Check the show notes on YouTube as well as in the podcast version so you can follow him and access his content, which again is great stuff. And when we're talking about content, we could not create content like this now without you who support us. So please continue to press play on our content. Please rate and review this show on your podcasting app of choice. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Castbox, and more. And if you can't find the show, let me know at jeeknation@gmail.com or message on Facebook or Twitter at Jeek Nation. We'll see you next episode. Same Jeek time, same Jeek channel.